Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel this so paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under screens, but no one seems to hear a thing? Do you know that there's still a chance for you, 'cause there's a spark in you? You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. Just on the night, like the 4th of July. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you work. Make 'em go, as you shoot across the sky. Your original cannot be replaced. If you only knew what the future holds, after a hurricane comes a rainbow. Maybe a reason why all the doors are closed, so you could open one that leads you to the perfect road. Like a lightning bolt, your heart will glow, and when it's time to know, you just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. Just on the night, like the 4th of July. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you work.
Though ready to explode, on the verge of making it all happen. There's a bouncing ball to second. Taylor's got it. Los Angeles is alive, and they're headed to the World Series. Dodgers, Yankees in the Fall Classic. Much more battle-tested this time around. This Dodgers team pushed all regular season. Wasn't the walk in the park that it often has been to a division title. Calloused and hardened by that journey. They withstand the deficit.
Viene Soto, swing, elevado, profundo por el central. Atrás lo va buscando. Chávez a la pared. Olvídala. Esa se va y se fue. Se fue. Soto la botó. Juan Soto por el center field. Échale sazón. Eso es un horror.
Okay. I gave you the Spanish version of that call. That was by Biak. So, folks, the Mets lost to the Dodgers on Sunday. I'm okay. Everybody's all right. You know, and the Dodgers move on to take on the Yankees in their first meeting since 1981. We'll do our preview of the World Series starting tonight. We'll have our good friend Chuck Knobloch will be joining us around 7:30 on the phone, and then we'll have let me give out the other guy. So that was the Spanish call of the Yankees radio network. And then Brian McKeon, who is from the Locked On Yankees, it's a podcast here on YouTube. He'll be joining us. And then Jeff Snyder, who does the Dodgers version of that show, he'll be joining us at 7:45 to talk about Dodger baseball. And then throughout the show here, folks, we'll be occasionally playing classic Yankees Dodgers. Like we got to play this one here. Back in 1977, the Dodgers and Yankees played each other in Yankee Stadium, and some guy named Mr. October just told the Dodger faithful to go home from the Yankee Stadium. So here is the call from the good, what's his name? Howard Cosell with the call.
Now listen to the ovation for Reggie Jackson as he comes up to the plate.
Reggie Jackson has seen 2 pitches in the strike zone tonight, 2, and he's hit them both in the seats.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, what a blow. What a way to top it off. Forget about who the most valuable player is in the World Series. How this man has responded to pressure. Oh, what a beam on his face. How can you blame him? He's answered the whole world.
Reggie Jackson's last at-bat, probably in the 1977 series.
What a colossal blow.
And that was a monster in itself. 475 feet probably. Look at that. Look at Torres. You don't think they know it?
All right. So Reggie, did you hear Tom Seaver was also on that call?
Keith Jackson, too.
Yeah, Keith Jackson, Tom Seaver, and Howard Cosell.
Howard Cosell on ABC Sports, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, a year later, in 1978, those 2 teams faced off again. This time in Dodger Stadium was Game 6, and Mr. October. I just love it when he hits a home run. I think he's the first one that does showboating around the bases because he looks like like a smaller version of Barry Bonds. When Bonds hit one. So here's Reggie. In 78, hit one off of Bob Welsh, and NBC with the call. Joe Jarrett, I think it's probably Vince Scully and Joe Garagiola with the call. So here it is.
Oh, that's gone. That's 2 more. He stayed at home plate. Forget it. That's way out of here. Reggie Jackson knew he touched one off. He's battled Welch, and he just showed, I am the boss, youngsters. He really drilled one. Tips his hat to the fans. And now we got a...
So Reggie gets a hold of one, helps the Yankees win the World Series. And in 1981, the Dodgers got back to the Yankees and beat them in 6 games. And I think I have to replace that video. Hold on a second. Let me take this one out. We're still waiting for our good friend to join us, Jennifer Lewis, to join us. I told her. She said she has a link. 6 or 7. So hopefully she knows when to log in here. Yeah. So you were on her show on Tuesday.
Yeah. I was actually breaking down the upcoming NCAA women's basketball season. It's only what I think about
So
like 9 days away, or 10 days away, something like that. So yeah, it was a lot of fun being on her show. And 6:30, we finally got him, Chris. We finally got a good friend, Dave Ryan, to come on.
Yeah, he's in Ohio this weekend. He's doing the broadcast of the Buffalo versus Ohio University game on.
Yeah. A mighty game in the MAC. So,
yeah. And he might be doing the Army game next week against Air Force because that's where we are going to hit. Matt and I are going to hit the road. I don't know where.
And folks, it's called coming up at 7:15. We are going to have our good friend Tom Clark join the show, and perhaps he may give us a little hint about the upcoming schedule for next year's PBA Tour. And we'll also preview an event that was taped up in Portland, Maine when I was there, starting this Sunday on Fox. Check your local listings. It is the
I think I got it right for you. Hold on. I think I wrote it out here. Hold on here. Okay. It all depends on your Global Wing Elite League Strike Derby live this Sunday at noon at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock on Fox 45 here in Baltimore, because I guess we have the 4 o'clock game because we don't have.
Yes, and it was pre-taped while the PBA Elite League was going on in Portland, Maine. So,
and then you have a 1 o'clock game. You're going to have it at 4 o'clock on Asheville.
Yes, we are. So
Fox WHNC Fox Carolina out of Greensville.
WHNS Fox Carolina. Yep.
So check your local listings wherever you are, in this great state, this great country. But if you're in Baltimore, it's 1 o'clock on Fox 45. 4:05 down in Asheville, North Carolina. I think it's the Panther.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we won't talk about the Panthers.
If you're tuning in right now, if you want to ask Commissioner Clark a question, email us a question right now at herbfmradio@gmail.com. I'm still waiting for Jen. I reminded her yesterday. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. So, sad news this week. Fernando Valenzuela passed away.
Fernando Mania.
Yes, and he actually spent some time in Baltimore for 1 year. He was in Louisville so he's pitching right here to a good old Chili Davis, and I guess he called timeout there or something like that. And Chris Hoyles is behind the plate there for the Orioles. So 1992, I was trying to get Greg Olson to come on today, but he's not available because Greg Olson was a teammate of Fernando Valenzuela.
Yes.
Yeah, so really sad for him to be there.
He died of unexpected causes, and we all remember when Fernando Mania hit the Dodgers, and I believe he was a Spanish radio broadcaster.
Yep.
With the Dodgers, he was there alongside Jaime Herrán, who is legendary Spanish radio announcer for the Dodgers now.
Yeah, exactly. So if you heard the show in the beginning, we want to say happy birthday to Katy Perry because today she's 40 years old on this date. And she was born in 1984, so she is 40 years old today. So happy birthday.
And Chris, it's called, we had a good friend on from Portland, Maine a couple weeks ago. And on this day 1 year ago was a tragedy that took place up there in Lewiston, Maine at bowling alley called Just in Time Recreation. So we want to say, we love you guys up there in Portland. I'll see you guys next year. And actually, Chris, what they're doing at Bayside Bowl on November 3rd, which is my dad's birthday, they're doing a special concert honoring the victims of Western North Carolina, and they're going to be like they're going to have stuff to raffle off, gift certificates and whatnot. So all the money goes, to the victims of Hurricane Helene. So thank you so much, Charlie Mitchell, and everyone up there at Bayside Bowl for what, since, I go up there every year, and maybe John Clark can give us a little.
Yeah. If she texted me, if we will put her on at 6:45, because we have an opening at 6:45, because we were supposed to have Kenneth Watson from the Stallions, and he's coaching in high school football in Ohio. And he goes, "Oh, I'm going to after 10." I'm like, "Dude, we're not on at 10 o'clock."
No.
So we'll get him on next Thursday. I'm thinking next Thursday night we'll do it after trick or treating around like 8 o'clock.
Sure.
Because I think trick or treating around here is 5:30 to 6:30, 5:30 to 8 o'clock for the little ones.
Yeah.
So, and my neighborhood has a lot of little kids, and Nicole and I enjoy sitting on the porch last year ordering pizza and watching these kids come up with these cool Halloween costumes, and it was, and we give them out their bottled water. I gotta go get some candy tomorrow.
There you go. So, I'm game doing it on Halloween next Thursday.
Yeah. So
you could, and it's called, if we do our show next Thursday, you could see me in a I may wear actually. I may actually wear my bowling pin costume.
You know, I may wear. How about this? We will wear the costumes on our show. Okay, how that? We'll pick.
Yeah, it's cool. I will wear my bowling pin costume on the show next Thursday night.
Matt will dress up as a guy who I don't know what he does. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he's having phone problems. I don't know what's going on with him tonight because he told me he couldn't call people. So
Well, you and I can handle this.
Yeah, you and I found the 81 clip of the Yankees Dodgers the last time they played in the World Series, and here is Vin Scully with his call.
Guidry has retired 15 of the last 16 Dodger batters, and although he averages only 6 innings per outing, he shows no signs of wilting. Pedro Guerrero at bat. Suddenly, it's a tie ball game. Just when it appears the spell's worn off, the Dodgers find their comeback magic again. Still, Lemon sticks to his laissez-faire doctrine, letting Guidry face another dangerous righty, Steve Yeager. The serenity of a Sunday afternoon pitching duel has been shattered by back-to-back home runs. And with shocking speed, the Dodgers have taken a 2-1 lead.
So Steve Yeager and Pedro Guerrero with home runs off the Gator, Ron Gitry back in 1981. You could tell Gitry was not happy on that second home run. He was like,
And Los Angeles Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Farmer John Sausages, the official sausage of the LA Dodgers.
Official sausage of the LA Dodgers.
Well, that's how Vin Scully talked.
I know, but the way you say it's funny. Folks, if go to our Twitter page, vote now on our Twitter page. Who do you think is going to win the World Series between the Yanks and Dodgers starting tonight? Game 1. Garrett Cole taking on Flaherty, for the Dodgers. Flaherty had a rough outing against the Mets the other day, but he did pitch like Oral Hershiser in Game 1 of the NLCS, shutting out my Mets for 2 hits in Game 1. But this is Garrett Cole taking on Flaherty tonight at 8:00 on Fox, and after Fox, I don't even know how they're going to do this. They're going to have Rutgers and USC play at 11 o'clock. Sometimes baseball carries over to 11 o'clock. So are they going to put that on Fox Sports 1? And then, and then after the Dodgers and Derek Jeter and all those people stop yapping, they'll go to the game or something.
Yeah. It's like Garrett Cole comes home because Garrett Cole played college baseball at UCLA. So it's like it's sort of a homecoming from him. Tonight.
So we're still waiting for whoever's going to log in here. We're just doing our
it's called. We're supposed to have Darrell Thompson on, former Packer running back, now commentator for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, because Chris was supposed to go up there to.
Hold on. I got emails here. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Oh, I didn't get him. I forgot to talk to that guy. I'll email this guy a little bit later. I forgot to email somebody this evening. All right, we're just waiting for whoever's logging in here.
It's called Darrell Thompson.
I'll get what's her name. I'll get Randy in real quick because if Darrell joins us, I got Randy here. Hold on, let me get Randy's email here. Sorry. Hold on here.
Fine.
Computer. I'm having problems with this computer. Here is the link. get it to him so he can get on, because whoever from Minnesota will get on. So Let me get it to him. So here it is.
Is that Darrell Thompson?
No, it's actually Randy Johnson. He writes for the Minnesota Star Tribune. So
cool.
So we got. I reached out both of them, and they both did it the same. I went with the football player, thinking the football player would be better. But we'll wait for Darrell, to Randy to join us. Whoever joins us from Minnesota would be nice.
Yes. Yeah. Because originally, Chris, you were supposed to go out there to cover Maryland at Minnesota.
Yes, but I decided to stay back here due to situations I can't control.
Yeah, and you saw Maryland play one heck of a game against USC where they came back and won. And
here's the last play on Fox Sports 1 last Saturday between USC and Maryland. Here it is.
USC can call a timeout if they want. Nope, and they won't.
So Maryland won 28 to 20. Was it 29?
29-28.
Yeah, and they stormed the field afterwards.
Well,
I totally don't understand why.
How was it in the locker room with Coach Loxley?
Oh, he was good. He was talkative, and I talked to Billy Edwards. I couldn't get a chance to edit the interview real quick. So here's Randy Johnson. Somebody from Minnesota will be joining us. Hey, Randy.
How you doing?
Thank you so much. I apologize. Forgot to get you the link today. I just
no worries.
Busy with everything. Big game this weekend between Maryland and Minnesota. I went to College Park last week to watch that. I don't know why the Maryland faithful stormed the field. I don't understand that in the first place because I know it's USC, but USC is not, Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush and everybody else. It's like,
they stormed the field in Minnesota when they won too. So,
oh Jesus,
yeah, it was it was a long time coming for a big win for them. So the fans were pretty happy.
Yeah. So talk about your guys' win against USC. You guys came back at the end and beat them. With the last couple seconds of touchdown. When Maryland came back on, somehow they found a way to. They were down 14 or something in the fourth quarter. And I'm thinking in the press box, well, this is going to be a blowout. And I guess Loxley would be not happy. And all of a sudden, we're seeing people in the crowd taking off their T-shirts and swinging it. And I'm like, what the hell is going on right here? So I guess that magic worked down there at College Park.
Yeah, it was very similar up here. Their freshman phenom at safety, Coy Parrish, makes a leaping interception in the end zone to basically end USC's last threat. That was after their quarterback scored on a 4th and goal sneak from inside the one that originally they had ruled it not that he hadn't to cross the line. They went to video and they overturned it and gave him the touchdown.
Yeah. So this weekend's game against Maryland, PJ Fleck is the head coach of Minnesota. Is everybody still enjoying him being head coach out there? Because I know he came from Western Michigan and he had the row the boat and all that stuff. It's still working. I don't know. He's frozen. Can you hear me?
Okay, it froze up for a second there. You're asking about PJ Fleck?
Yeah. Is it still working there? Like with his. People.
Some fans were getting a little irritated early in the season when they had they lost to North Carolina in the opener, and then lost back-to-back to Iowa and Michigan. With a 2-3 record at that time, but that's why the USC win was really big for them. It was their first, probably the biggest win against USC was number 11 at the time, so his biggest win there since probably the 19th season. They won down at Iowa last year to get the Floyd of Rosedale, and Iowa was ranked around 20, so that was a good one too. Yeah, I think it's a pro town, and it's so easy to jump off a bandwagon if a team isn't doing something because you have other options like the Vikings, Timberwolves, Wild, everything else, and it's just you don't want it to get to the point where fans are indifferent. You want them passionate either way. I know that some people don't like his style. His he uses a lot of basically words, phrases, row the boat, things like that. It's to me, that's geared toward the recruiting. Whatever whatever you need to do to get recruits in is okay with me. I mean, it's I don't know. It's kind of the get off my lawn crowd that might have problems with them.
Exactly. Adam, you got a question for?
I do. And actually, Randy, I have a couple cousins who actually live in the Twin Cities, so it's like so. And I know, I think you guys up there, I feel a little down since Minnesota Lynx didn't win the WNBA title, but it's hockey season, and I know how big Minnesota Golden Gopher hockey is up there for you guys. So
that's my other beat.
Yeah, and it's like and just talk about after losses to our Tribals, you had 2 wins against 2 new schools in the Big Ten, which is still weird to me, having USC and UCLA in the Big Ten. And but what are some keys, for the Golden Gophers to win against Maryland at Huntington Bank Stadium on Saturday?
I think a lot of it's going to have to do with how they handle Maryland's passing game on defense. It seems like they just want to chuck the ball around. Obviously Ty Felton, very, very big target there for 64 receptions. I don't know if you can shut him down completely, but I think you got to control him. And he's back. They when against Miller Moss and USC, they faced that to a point, but USC was running the ball effectively, and then Riley just went to the passing game when he should have kept running, and that kind of helped the Gophers get back into it. I think that's going to be a key. Getting the pass rush on Edwards also. They've had a couple of defensive players banged up. I think if they get those guys back to full strength, they'll be in decent shape there. But yeah, it's kind of, this series has kind of been odd. Basically, the average score since Fleck's taken over, it's been like 41 to 22. So it's they're kind of evenly matched teams, usually similar records, but this game kind of can get pear-shaped at times. Yeah,
and your quarterback is someone that Chris and I are familiar with because we also cover the CAA, and that's Max Brosmer, and he is transferred from a state I used to live in, New Hampshire. So, so what's your take on how Max has done this year up in Minneapolis?
He's done very well, especially lately. Opener he was a little touch and go against North Carolina, not quite as accurate as you might have wanted him to be, but he's right up there near 70% of completion percentage. He's been very, very clutch the last 3 weeks, especially. He's led 6 fourth quarter touchdown drives. They were down 21 to Michigan, came back, got it to 27-24, and recovered an onside kick. They had it at the Michigan 37, but they were ruled offside, and they couldn't get the new kick recovered. So they had a very good rally there. Then he rallied them past both USC and then UCLA out at the Rose Bowl Stadium.
Yeah,
it's kind of one more thing, Randy. There's a player on your team, Coleman Bryson, and he's actually from the same. He's from the same giant, North Carolina. So it's like I feel there's a part of my hometown, up there in Minneapolis. That's pretty cool. And so overall, what's your take on the status of the Big Ten this year? Having USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington joining.
It's interesting, because it's the whole different dynamic here. They got rid of the division, so like the Gophers were, they're playing that West, and that kind of gave them a little bit easier route to say if you put together the right type of season, you could get the Indy for the Big Ten championship game. They never did make it in that format, but they got close a couple times. This way, it's now you're basically kind of playing for bowl positioning if you lose a couple early, which they did, and now they've made a bit of a comeback now with two wins in a row. But it seems like every team has a stretch that's pretty nasty, you know, where you get 3 tough games in a row where it's gonna cause some problems. Theirs was you know, it was thought it was going to be the Iowa Michigan USC game. They got one of those. They won one, which was pretty good there. You know, now that they're in just a lot of toss-up games, and I think you're seeing that throughout the league where there's not a lot that separates a lot of the teams in the middle. You know, you have your Oregons and your Ohio States and your Penn States, but then you're going to have a bunch of teams kind of bunched, maybe a win or two behind them.
That's true. Yeah, I just think it's pretty interesting with USC and UCLA. It's almost like having the Rose Bowl games in the regular season now. You know, it's like Penn State took on USC last 2 weeks ago. I'm like, oh, they played each other a couple of years ago in the Rose Bowl. Okay, this might be am I watching a rerun on CBS? No, I'm not. It's a real thing. You know, it's something I got to get used to. But having USC come to Maryland for the first time, I think that's pretty cool for the fans because USC never makes a trip to the East Coast at all.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it was really cool. And the stadium should have been more packed for people. I guess they don't understand that USC is still a Power 5 school. And then with Maryland, and then Penn State having UCLA and Washington next week, and and all those people. I think it's just cool to see different teams and different schools. But I feel bad for the travel. That's the only thing I'm worried about. You know, the money they're spending on these flights. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I think that's gonna affect the non-revenue sports a lot more than say football and hoops. But what the interesting thing with the Gophers, they went out to play UCLA out on the Rose Bowl stadium there, and they had about 15,000 in the stands there for that. I mean, they traveled very, very well to that game, and I hope they're hoping that the both people notice that too, because they've really upped their traveling parties over the last few years. They've had some nice opponents that they had.
I think he's having internet issues out there.
A few years before that, they hadn't been to Colorado since like about 1990, and the fans showed up very well. Next year, they have a non-conference game out at Cal, and then they go to Oregon in Big Ten play. Upcoming, they have in a few years they have a trip to Mississippi State, and they in the early 30s they'll have a home against Alabama. So they're upgrading their schedule a bit, and then the Big Ten with the expansion, you don't have to go to say West Lafayette or Champaign or Bloomington every other year. You're going to get a Eugene, you're going to get a Seattle, and I think the fans are loving that part of it.
Exactly. Well, Randy, I hope you have a great game. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Sorry, I can't make the trip out there. I had something going on here, but maybe I can see you guys next time when you get to College Park. And the schedule rotates maybe next year. So enjoy the game, and thanks for coming on.
Yep, appreciate it, guys.
All right, see you. Bye.
Yep. Randy.
All right, it's Randy Johnson, the writes for the Minnesota Star Tribune. Our good friend Darrell Thompson will be joining us at 6:45. He thought I was going to call him, and I'm like, no, I gave you the link. So But anyway, we know we gave this guy the link. This guy is a guy.
Yeah, we've been missing him, and
we've been missing this guy for a very long time.
Yeah, it's like he has a matchup in the mighty Mac on Saturday between not the Buffalo Bills, but the Buffalo
Bison.
Bulls and the Ohio Bobcats. And his analyst is actually Adam, not me, but Adam Redeman. So, and I wonder if he's ready for the start of the PBA Tour season like we all are. So let's bring in our good friend, Dave Ryan. We missed you, Dave. So thanks so much for joining us. And
of course, good
let's
to see you
talk
guys.
about this game on Saturday tomorrow between the Buffalo Bulls and the Ohio Bobcats.
A lot of bees, Adam. It's a lot of bees.
Bulls,
I know. And I miss you.
Buffalo.
And I can say this, God, everything is good with me regarding Hurricane Helene since you've seen the pictures and you've seen the video. So I'm doing well up here. So I'm
glad to hear
what are
that.
some of the keys, for Ohio, to get the win tomorrow at home?
It's going to be a great game, guys. Great. Thanks for having me on the show. It's been a long time. Chris, thanks for asking me.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
This is going to be a slugfest Maction type game that's going to go right down to the last possession, I hope, because I have not had a close game yet this year. I've had a lot of blowouts. So I need a good fourth quarter last possession finish. It helps. Ooh, we got some highlights up there. That's sweet.
Yeah, that's from last year's game between those
last year's
two.
game. Got it. Yeah. So this is going to be a good matchup. It always comes down, guys, to quarterback play. It's going to be the same thing tomorrow. CJ Ogbonna for Buffalo. It's his first year starting. He's a dual threat QB out of Atlanta who went to JC at Hutch and won a national championship there.
Okay.
Went to SEMO in the FCS, did well there, and now he's at Buffalo in the FBS because Cole Snyder transferred to Eastern Michigan last year starter. So Buffalo has a new coach this year in Pete Lembo, who, if MAC fans are watching, was the head coach at Ball State for a while, had a lot of success at Lehigh and Elon, and then decided to leave head coaching in 2015 to go to 4 different stops, including South Carolina, as a special teams coordinator.
Oh, okay.
And then in January, Mo Lindquist, who had been the head coach at Buffalo, who had not done really well, 3 wins last year, wasn't going great after Lance Leipold went to Kansas a couple years back. He took a staffing job at Alabama as an analyst.
Okay.
So in January, right before signing day, the head coaching job at Buffalo is open, and Pete Lembo gets a call, and things work out. And the biggest recruit he got had already been at Buffalo. This guy, Sean Dolak, you probably know his name, nation's leading tackler. He's the Mike Backer, number 52 for Buffalo. He had transferred to Utah State. So Pete Lembo takes the job, and the best defensive player in the country is in the Mountain West. So his buddies are still at Buffalo saying, hey, we got this new coach here. They're texting him, it's going pretty well here, Sean. You want to come back? So he does spring ball at Utah State and transfers back to Buffalo, where he's from. And now he's leading the nation in tackles. He's unbelievable, this kid. So QB Ogbonna and Dolak, the linebackers, they've got another kid named Red Murdoch, who's looking at my boards here, number 3 in the FBS in tackles.
Mm-hmm.
So these 2 linebackers for Buffalo are absolutely off the charts. They're incredible. Parker Navarro is the quarterback for Ohio. He's the transfer from UCF, who has been like Jekyll and Hyde.
Okay.
He got benched last week when they lost to Miami in the rivalry game. He's also run for 176 in a game against Central Michigan. Run for. So this guy's a dual threat too. So it's going to come down to which quarterback you're going to get. It's almost Halloween, right? So Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, next Thursday.
We're here in Athens, Ohio. They've got a big Halloween block party tomorrow night. Everyone's talking about it here. People are stoked. I'll be on a plane already to my next game, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a really good matchup. I think this comes right down the wire, and these are 2 teams that are right in the thick of the race for the MAC.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's chasing Western Michigan right now, but it's a long way to go.
Yeah.
Both identical records, right, guys? So 4-3 overall, 2-1 in the MAC. Very even statistically. Going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty cool. I get a chance before I go to work. I tune you in at noon before I go, and I go, oh,
sweet.
Dave's doing the game. Oh, okay. Let me listen.
It'll be fun.
See what's going on. Like, all right, I'm going to go to work now. I'm in a good spirit because I listen to Dave. But I got to ask you a question. Next week, are you going to your new home in West Point next week?
It sure feels like it.
Yeah.
I've had a few games there this year, and what a season for Bryson Daly.
Yes.
Right.
Who really should deserve consideration for the Heisman. I have a Heisman vote, and I would put him on the list for sure. I might write him in anyway if things continue to trend the way they will. There hasn't been a G5 Heisman winner since Ty Detmer in 1990.
I remember that.
So as we all know, BYU is now the Big 12. BYU is now a power conference team, right?
Yeah.
So
we
it's
been
my feeling for years that there should be a G5 Heisman winner just for the G5 teams. There are several quarterback awards, the Manning and Unitas, that are national QB awards that he will deserve consideration for, and he'll probably get invited if he stays healthy and continues to do what he's doing. And of course, now at this point, you're kind of in. I'm pulling for Army to win out, somehow beat Notre Dame at Yankee Stadium, beat Air Force this weekend, of course, and then we have them one more time. UTSA, last game of the regular season, Thanksgiving weekend.
Okay.
My birthday weekend.
Could determine the American Conference Championship.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, but Dave, we had Bryson Daly on a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really? Isn't he a great kid?
Yeah.
Great kid.
Awesome guy, right?
I asked him, I said, okay, do you work on your passing during the game, during practice? Because normally you hear a guy, Army quarterback, you think right away, option, bingo. Yeah, that's all he goes. He's like, no, I actually passed the ball during practice. I'm like, well,
he's got a great arm. I mean, he missed on some throws because they don't throw very much, but I mean, the national leader among quarterbacks in rushing, top 5 in rushing overall, 5 touchdowns their last game responsible for. We've had him 3 times, and he's been absolutely spectacular.
Yeah,
absolutely spectacular. From the Lehigh game all the way through last week against East Carolina. I mean, these games aren't even close. Now we'll see this weekend. They're their next game with Air Force. They're a heavy favorite to win. They should. The American is low. It's a little bit down this year. Mm-hmm. Really, it's Memphis and Tulane are the best teams, and UTSA, and that's the last game. They don't play Memphis or Tulane. Oh, wow. So East Carolina's the last, or UTSA's the last game of the season. It could come down to the last game. I mean, it's amazing, guys. You probably know this. Like, now that Army's in the American, they could play Navy in the American Conference Championship game, and then the next week in the Classic.
Right, exactly.
Which is not a regular season game. It's amazing.
I think that's cool.
How cool would that be?
Yeah, right. But Dave, I got to ask you a question. If you're Navy and Army's coach, would you show them everything in that title game, or you try to hold back and go?
Great question. It's never happened before, Chris. Yeah. Who knows?
I don't know.
I mean, the 13th game, that would be the year. There's not a lot of secrets or surprises.
Right.
I mean, everything depends on Bryson Daly. If for some reason he got hurt, it would not be the same by a long shot. But let's hope and knock on wood and cross our fingers that the most physical quarterback in the country can stay healthy for 12 games. It would be awesome if they played twice. It would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And Dave, it's like we're gonna have the commissioner of the PBA Tour, Tom Clark, on, and obviously we all know you from doing coverage of the PWBA Tour, and it was a very successful year this year. I mean, you had, USBC Queens was spectacular, and I will say this: Sydney Brummett deserves some sort of award, since she does an incredible job. As a laneside reporter, I mean, when I watch, it's like she deserves an award. You know what I mean?
She's awesome. A great person, a very good coach. They won the national championship, of course.
Yes.
Down in Babson Park this year. So that was extraordinary, and a great bowler too. So I wish her the best of success on the lanes. Anytime we have Sid or Kelly or whomever it might be as the analyst on our CBS shows, you always want them to win the tournament. Be on the show is great. Win the tournament, so they don't have to worry about being the analyst. And I know Kelly has had such an incredible Hall of Fame career, and hope that continues next year. But it was awesome. Sid did a really, really nice job this past year on TV, and
he did. And
the shows were fantastic. I mean, the majors mean so much to the PWBA Tour, and they're a really extraordinary showcase for the best bowlers in the world.
Yeah,
I wish they would come here to like North Carolina and do like a special event. Raising money for victims of Hurricane Helene. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Start a social media campaign, Adam.
Yeah.
Well, let's come on. We have Tom Clark. I'm going to ask him. So it's like
that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I mean, it's like, why not? I mean,
and Dave, you were saying you had Kelly Kubik as your analyst, and you had that other lady. Now you're Chris Schenkel, because remember Nelson Burgess Jr. had a bowl sometimes on TV, and then he brings in Dick Weber to follow, to do the broadcast. So you are Chris Schenkel of the modern age of broadcasting now for bowling. You have your replacements now. Coming in.
I appreciate that. Those are very kind words, Chris and Adam. That's a very nice thing to say.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, the legendary voice of bowling will never be surpassed by anyone, me included. But I love the sport, love being involved, and anytime I can to do a show, I'm happy about
it. Yeah. Okay.
Adam, I have to ask you, did you do the last bowling tour here in Baltimore back in 2008?
Was that Danny Wiseman?
No, Pete Weber won the marathon.
08? No, it went Robin 08.
Okay, Rob. Okay, I couldn't remember who was doing it, but
I was 02 to 06, 02 to 07, and then when CBS got shows starting in 2010 with the summer events and the fall swing, got back into it, which eventually evolved into the PBA Tour Finals, which we still do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. It's because you and Randy do a good job, and I will say this: I enjoyed watching the PBA Tour Finals from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
It's great.
At Homer Lee and Chris DeSante's bowling alley that they have up there, and it's called I I actually have an invitation to go up there next year. So
good. You should come. It's going to be back at the same spot, and they're amazing proprietors.
Okay, so
really
PBA Tour
cool.
final.
Really cool site. It's right next to the Allentown Airport.
Yes,
which I didn't know. I flew to Philly. I didn't realize how close it was. So
okay,
next year I'm gonna make a change.
That's a good idea. Good idea.
Okay, so you can confirm that next year's PBA Tour Finals will be at Steel City.
Well,
right. I think that's officially announced. I'm pretty sure that's right. It's been on social media.
It's called. If it is, it's called. I'll be there.
Excellent. I hope so.
Oh, of course. Of course I'll be there.
Yeah, Dave. Also, you do basketball. Let's talk about the CAA because normally you do that. And we had Pat Scarry on a couple weeks ago. He gave you so much fun praises about how you are a true professional and do a great job.
He's such a good dude. I love Pat.
He's funny as anything. He looked at us. They had a tailgate party last week, and he goes, "All right, you and Adam and Matt, you're free. Chris, $14.95." I'm like,
that's right. That's right, Chris. That's right.
That sounds about right. That sounds like Pat.
Yeah, but anyway,
great coach, and he gives us amazing access to. Lets us obviously attend practice, which not all coaches do. Most coaches do the day before, the day of the game, the shoot around, but also a film session. So really behind the scenes stuff, watching them watch film with their assistant, whoever had the scout that day. It's really cool background for us and gives us a really good structure for our show. And I've known him for many, many years. Great coach, great person.
I hope this year they can get over that hurdle because every time when they get down to DC, it's always somebody's in the way.
Well, Charleston's going to have a big turnover with their coaching staff and their best players going to Louisville. So it's going to be an interesting year. We'll see. I mean, it's a brand new season. The portal has changed not only in college football immensely, but basketball even more so, probably twice as much with players moving and coaches moving. There's so much turnover. So it should be a really competitive CA. I can't wait to get started.
Hoop season is only like, what is it? Less than
it's
like
almost
10 days, 9 days away. And it's like,
Thank
I know.
goodness.
Well, they're playing an exhibition game tomorrow in Queens against St. John's. So we try to get Rick Pitino, but I guess Rick Pitino is too busy for us or something. Maybe
it's for Autism Society. So it's like, called Davis called, I have autism. So it's like, it was, it's really cool, to see what Coach Scary and Townsend are doing against St. John's. And it's like, so do you know your first game for CBS Sports regarding college basketball yet?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be UCLA at New Mexico. Which
okay.
It's going to be a blast at the Pit on November 8th.
Nice.
It's going to be really, really fun.
Awesome.
Should be a ball.
So when's your first CAA game,
No, not yet. We haven't got that set yet because CBS is doing the most we ever have, which is awesome. But nothing until after January. So after the league play starts, they don't do non-con games. So still working that out, but hope to do quite a bit. Can't wait.
And I know CBS Sports Network now has a schedule for the Big 12. So it's like you're going to see games.
Huge. Also looking forward to those games. We have a lot, Adam. We're
over
really
300 games are on CBS and CBS Sports Network. So it's like, it's nice. It's called I'm Ready.
That's cool.
Me too.
All right, Dave. Well, I know you're a busy guy because a lot of broadcasters the night before get yourselves ready with your charts and all that stuff. So get back to work, sir. Thank you so much for coming on.
Right here. Got the
boards.
There you go. Yeah. All right, Dave.
I hope to see you. If you're
all the stats, all the facts are in there. Just gotta keep memorize these players. I go over the names and numbers a lot, and hopefully it'll all come back to me at noon Eastern tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope to see you next Saturday.
Next year.
Are you gonna be in West Point next Saturday for the Army?
Not next Saturday, but I'll be there on the 30th for UTSA.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get a win for you, and we hope to see you. And if you're in Baltimore anytime, just give me a call. I'll take you to get you a crab cake or something.
Awesome, love that. I had crab cake Benedict this morning at the hotel here in Athens. It was amazing. Nothing like a Maryland crab cake.
Right.
I'm not saying it's the same. It's not the same, but it was quite good with a Benedict. Like they didn't have any any English muffins. It was the crab cake and then the egg and the hollandaise. It was
wow.
It was a wow.
And you need to get down here to Western North Carolina.
Tuesday night I'll be on. Tuesday night, I think it's 7 Eastern, FIU, New Mexico State.
Okay.
Ooh, thank you.
So I'm going right to Miami. Flying right to Miami tomorrow night. Camp out in the room on Sunday, Monday. Get myself ready for Tuesday night.
That's cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll keep in touch with you and have a great broadcast tomorrow.
Thanks for asking me. Good to see you guys. Bye, Adam.
All right. Say hello to the
Bye,
kids
guys.
for us. All right. Say hello to the kids. All right.
Sounds good. Sure will, Chris. Thanks, bud.
All right. See you. Bye. All right. As Dave Ryan, his kids are really cool. Cool kids.
Yes. It's called He is a legend, Chris.
Yes, he is. And we get the legends on this program. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
And speaking of legends, we're going to bring this next guy in. He is a legend in Minnesota football.
Yeah.
He actually was a big draft pick by the Packers after a very good career with the Gophers. So let's bring in Darrell Thompson, who finally joins us. Hi, Darrell. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Doing great. How you feeling today? Because he texted me and go, I'm getting some hot tea to make myself really good. You're right.
I need everything I can. I'm getting up there. I'm a grandpa now. I got a grandchild that could be born any minute. So I got my phone and my watch on hot alert for when my daughter calls to let me know that we're going to have a new little bambino, another grandchild.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Let's talk about this game tomorrow between Maryland and Minnesota. We had Randy on who filled in for you, make sure everything was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just talk about this game. Maryland coming off I don't want to say it's an upset over USC. USC wasn't, Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush and everybody else. It was a good game down there in College Park, but can Minnesota derail that Maryland train?
I don't know. I hope so. I'm optimistic. It feels like Coach Fleck has the team playing well. They're probably, it's the most athletic secondary that I've seen from us in a long time. Just there's depth back there. There's athleticism. The freshman Coy Parrish has been a really, really pleasant surprise. You watch high school film and the highlights and the tapes, and everybody looks awesome, right? He's running around catching, knocking people over, and they're dunking basketballs. And they get to the Division I level, and it's just not the same. And he has been able to translate his exceptional high school career into a nice college career. And with the other transfers we have this in the secondary, and Kerry Brown, another young guy that's playing really well back there. Nice secondary, Darius Taylor, a running back, and then I'm sure you know about our quarterback too, Max, Brosmer as well. So it's a team, a full team, and I'm optimistic that we'll be able to pull it out against Maryland tomorrow. Although I think Maryland's really good, and I think Mike Loxley is I was talking to some other people. He's such a good coach. He's such a great recruiter. He's smart. He's a program builder, and he has it going at Maryland. So I don't think, and I'm sure Coach Fleck is not, taking this game lightly at all, because they're, we have the exact same record. They've actually won one more Big Ten game than we have. So, and we go to Illinois next week. So, you want to obviously put your best foot forward every single week, and we have an opportunity here at home to win at homecoming. We had a bye, so we should be, theoretically, we should be in great shape. Catch Maryland coming in all fired up, and everyone's telling you how great you are. Hopefully we can, come out with a victory.
Yeah. I got to ask you about when you were playing for Minnesota back in the Dome. I found your video when you had a big run against Michigan. I want to play it real quick so Adam can see it. How special was that?
I know where you're going.
How special was that to take off and going down this? I was watching the other night, just watching for the first time. I was like, this is pretty cool. Like how did you just walk us through this play? Okay, here you go. You're literally at the goal line at your other end in the field.
We are on the 2-yard line, so
right.
This is like a little draw play to hope to be able to get us, out of the end zone, and then I got out on the perimeter, and people were always taking shots at my legs, and I was able to hurdle that defender and outrace everyone to the end zone here. So it was the longest run of my career. It was a 98-yard run. So I was obviously a little winded after that run, and that was one of the most painful losses I had in my career, because we lost that game on a kind of a tough call. If we would have had the ability to have replay at that point, we had our quarterback go in the end zone, fumbled the ball when he got in the end zone, so the other team got the ball back out the 20, and that was that's kind of how we lost the game. Ended up losing kind of a close game, but it was fun. It was special, and Bo Schemblecker gave me a hard time. It's, it's a throwback, name to one of the greatest coaches in college football history. He always said, "I wish I would have stuck my leg out there and tripped you, but then I would have had my Woody Hayes moment, and I would have never coached again." So that was his and I, it wasn't even an inside joke. He joked about it at the Big Ten Conference the next couple of years. Great person.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was on ABC, and I'm thinking like maybe Keith Jackson probably was with the call, probably, and I can hear him right now. And he's gone. Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, I can't remember. Lynn Swan interviewed me the day before. That was like one of my, and I was a sophomore when I had that run, so it was such a, when you get to meet your kid idols, like Lynn Swan, and to be able to meet like Matt Millen and other guys that have done games and broadcasted games I played in college, professional, and now that I'm in the broadcasting business, to like kind of hang out and talk to Matt Millen and Spencer Tillman, other people that have been around or impacted, or that I grew up watching, is always super fun.
Cool. Adam, you have a question for Darrell?
I do, and actually, Darrell, you and I share something that you may not know. Your birthday is November 23rd. Yeah. My birthday is November 24th. So happy early birthday.
Thank you.
When I saw that, I was like, real? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. So what was it like to play in the Metrodome and in the original Big Ten, since Metrodome since it's also home to the Minnesota Twins, and I think you guys had to almost had to play like on an adjusted field, since the Twins had their had the dirt,
it was tough. That turf was terrible, and I didn't know, I'm obviously now I'm 56 years old, but I think about that turf. It was really, really hard. It was really, really fast, and it was tearing people up, and I became a turf back when I was in college, because you just kind of learn how to run on it, how to cut on it, and you can make cuts on turf you can't make on grass, because there's a tremendous amount of traction that you get on turf that you don't get. Even on that run, you see me, I throw my leg under me and I cut out to the outside, and a cut I wouldn't make on grass, because your foot would slip out from underneath you. So you can cut even more on your inside foot and make, drastic cuts that you might not make, but that also tears up joints and things like that. So, I have an artificial hip and some other joints that are probably, in line for that. But it was, that turf was brutal. I remember talking to Torrey Hunter. He became a little bit of a friend. He played for the Minnesota Twins, and he was talking about how he, scraped up his stomach and his legs and his shoulder, sliding to catch balls in the outfield, because that turf was also, it really was on top of concrete, but it also was like that old, when you play putt golf, that type of turf. Yeah. That's just, it's super duper unforgiving. There was no little beads in there. There was no length to it. It was like a 1/4 inch of, I don't know, fuzz, that was there. So it was, the turf burns I had, they kind of dissipated over there. It probably took about 10 years for them to totally go away, but I had turf burns on my arms and my back and my stomach and my knees.
Wow.
For about a decade before they just kind of just faded off, and now they're not really there anymore. So it was the turf was not kind to Billy Sims. He blew his knee out on the turf, and a ton of my not ton, but probably at least a half dozen of my friends blew their knees. John Leverance, a big time linebacker that we had, and playing a little bit for the Washington, would have been then the Redskins, now the Commanders. He blew his knee out on it, and just a lot of people. Chris Carter, he played for the Vikings. He hurt his knee on it. So the turf was not kind.
Yeah, it's not like the turf now that we see, in college and the NFL. And it's like, and I have to ask, what was it like to play against your arch rivals? Iowa for the Floyd of Rosedale, and then against Michigan for the Little Brown Jug, since they're the two of the most iconic trophy games, not only in the Big Ten, but the entire country.
Yeah, they were a blast. When I was a freshman in the, we won the Little Brown Jug at Michigan when Michigan was ranked number 1 in the country. We were unranked. We were like a 25-point underdog coming into that game, and we were able to, like what you want to do when you're the underdog, you just want to hang around. We were hanging around. The score was like, I don't know, like 17 to 20 or 19 or something like that, and we hung around. We were able to kick a field goal at the end of that game and win it. So there was just jubilation. And it was obviously probably the biggest win of my career. Anytime you beat the number 1 team in the country, even if you're number 5, it's a big deal. But if you're unranked in their building, it's a really, really big deal. So that was that big highlight to have, have the little brown jug. And then playing against Iowa is, that's where my sister went to school. My wife went to school there. So that was always special to me, that campus, because I'd spend time there in the summer, visiting my wife and the other, like some of the basketball players, the football players became friends. And I loved Hayden Fry. Hayden Fry was the hardest person for me. I talked to Tom Osborne. I was blessed when I was recruited. Tom Osborne, Hayden Fry, Lou Holtz, all these guys were coming to my high school. And I tell you, Hayden Fry was one of the funnest and the funniest. And every time after we played the Hawkeyes, I'd go and shake his hand and give him a hug. And the Iowa players were friends. I knew some of the basketball players, with my sister playing volleyball there. So, and my wife playing volleyball there. I was just like around the campus and hanging out and working out with those guys a little bit and hanging out, drinking a little bit of beer with them and stuff like that too. So it was Iowa campus was special to me. And obviously Floyd of Rosedale is a really, really special trophy that was always fun to have and have go back and forth.
Nice. That's cool. You spent time with the Packers when you got drafted. So what was it like playing in the Lambeau field, when it's like so cold out? Was it like, did you get an opportunity to play in the snow?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was there for 5 years. So yeah, I played in the snow. I played in the cold. Someone had a picture yesterday and they're asking me, I didn't wear sleeves unless it was below 10, below 0. And I played in a couple games where it was, I played in one game where it was 35 degrees below 0. So then it's kind of like I don't care what I look like anymore. I have to cover my arms, because it just, the sheer wind on your bare skin would cut and it would hurt you. So I played there in some incredibly cold weather, and I played about 14 or 15 years before they had the heated bench. I was broadcasting 14 or 15 years ago, and I saw those little white benches come out, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that thing is. And then they had the, kind of the pole where you put the helmet on there, and I was like, man, did I miss out? Because that was, you can kind of survive on the field, but you just get colder and colder on the sideline. You have little heated gloves, and you put a little coat on, and it takes it off, but it's not. But being able to sit down on a warm bench, have your helmet be warm, you can actually kind of recover, and it just takes your energy, and everything is slower. And you can even tell the game's like a tiny bit slower when guys before the heated bench, because they would, little by little, you just get colder and colder, you get slower and slower, and the game slows down a little bit. But it's right. But playing at Lambeau Field, the fans in Wisconsin are awesome, which I didn't know until I got there. But great people, great fans, great community. It was an honor to play for the Green Bay Packers, playing for Lindy Infante and then Mike Holmgren my last 3 years, and with Brett Favre and with Sterling Sharp and Reggie White, Tim Harris, Herman Fontenot, the kind of, Bryce Pop, a lot of great players, a handful of Leroy Butler and I were drafted together. He's in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, Brett's in the Hall of Fame. Sterling Sharp should be in the Hall of Fame.
Agreed.
A lot of great. I mean, Sterling, brother, I mean, it's easy for your brother to say that, but I think most people would admit Sterling was actually better than his brother. And Shannon's in the Hall of Fame because, Shannon played like 11 or 12 years and Sterling played 7 because he hurt his neck. But Sterling was the most intelligent football player combined with strength and athleticism that I played with by far.
Cool.
That's cool. Well, Darrell, I hope you have a great broadcast tomorrow. You're doing the games for Minnesota, so hopefully you guys have a great game. And I hope to see you maybe next time when you get down to College Park. I couldn't make the trip out there this weekend, but maybe we'll catch up when you get to College Park next year or whenever the rotating schedule is.
I look forward to it. You guys, thanks for having me on. Sorry about the mix-up earlier.
Oh, no big deal. You're all good. Talk to you soon. Have a great weekend.
Take care. See you guys.
Thanks, Darrell.
That's Darrell Thompson, former Packer, now doing his alma mater, doing the games on Gopher, Minnesota Gopher football. So this weekend I got some great games in the ACC. We do have to talk about one great game. It's a rivalry, and we got a little bit here. So here we go.
We got 75,000. There's one in every seat.
He's got Aunt Lee down there. He's got it.
They came here to see Hurricane football.
Andre Johnson.
Let's go like a bunch of crazy men and play some games.
Touchdown, Florida State. Touchdown, Miami. Fumbling. Football picked. Touchdown. Seminoles.
But when I think about Florida State, I think about the great rivalry we had.
Every time we played Miami, it was, they call it game of the century.
Remember, the winner of this game has gone on to win the national championship.
It was a period of time where University of Miami was outstanding, Florida State was outstanding.
Nearly every time we played, it was 1 versus 2, or 1 versus 3, or 2 versus 4. The thing that made it so special is so many good players. There were more pros on that dadgum field than they had up in the NFL.
A big rivalry like Florida State and Miami. There's just so much more excitement.
Here it's 19 all, 2:30 to go. Irvin's got it. Irvin's free. Irvin's gone. Touchdown, Miami. Danny McManus has talked Bobby Bowden out of going for one in a tie. No good. The gamble fails in Tallahassee.
I've got great memories with Florida State. I remember one time, I guess it must have been in about '88, they were ranked preseason #1, and they had done a rap video prior to the game.
We are the Seminoles of Florida State. We know we're good, some say we're great. Our goal is simple, best in the land. Rockin' to the beat of the March Chiefs band. Hey, I'm Deion Sanders, should know my name. But if you don't, then I'm not to blame. I got world-class speed with Moose Spout. You throw it my way, you know I'll be there. You see, I play my best when the game's on the line. I guess that's why they call me prime time. Some call me cocky, and I know that. But this I got to do, the Seminole rap.
And we had all our kids back, boy. We were going to win it. We go down there and play them. They beat us 31-0. You know, just killed us.
Working against the clock, down over the middle, touchdown, Miami!
This could be for a national championship. It's up. Gaskin to the right.
The missed field goals, that was unbelievable. I had a kicker that never missed a field goal inside the 40. And we missed a wide right. The next time running out, same thing, wide right. Another time we played them.
3 yards away for the win. The kick on the way. He missed it. Wide left.
Wide left. And I think there's about 5 times where we lost to them with a wide kick.
He said, dadgummit, do you realize how many national championships we would have won if it hadn't been for this guy?
It used to make me so mad. We played Miami every year. It seemed like everybody else would play them, and then they'd drop Miami. We had to play them.
Touchdown, Florida State. Touchdown, Miami. It is caught. Yeah! Oh, touchdown official. Touchdown, Miami. He's got it. Caught. Touchdown.
Now, Miami's got the kind of athletes that everybody wants, you know what? And but Florida State does too, with more maturity and with a quarterback that's one of the best in the nation.
All right, that's a little hype video between Florida State and Miami, and for the miracle of the whatever happens on Sunday with the Mets losing, I talked to my brother today, who's a Hurricane fan, and he told me if somehow we upset him, he's probably going to drive to a liquor store, and I may not see him ever again because he. Because Florida State is, what are they, Adam? 28-point underdogs or something?
I believe last time I checked it was 20.5
or something like that. So tomorrow night after the Miami Florida State game, I'm actually home. We're going to do a post-game show, you and I, and we'll try to get Danielle on. And Priscilla may not be on because she just had a loss in her family.
Yes.
Her mom passed away, so I don't know what she's doing with that. But anyway, let's bring in Brett Friedlander, who covers the ACC, who will talk a little ACC football with him. So this weekend is Miami and Florida State. Normally that's a game that everybody wants to, put a circle around. But this year, Florida State looks like they don't know what's going on down in Tallahassee. And Miami's looking like with Cam Ward, they're going to blow people out of the water. So maybe if you are a miracle, say your prayers, can Florida State do something that might derail Miami?
Well, first of all, Chris, thanks for having me on. I am honored to be here, and I can't believe it's taken this long to get on your show. So I'm very excited about that. But yes, here's the thing: it would be the most Miami thing ever
to lose this game. And it's possible because Mario is going to Mario before the year is over. And, they'll get into a hole that Cam Ward can't dig them out of. Now, I don't know if it's going to be this game because I have a hard time seeing Florida State scoring enough to outscore Miami. I mean, they're averaging 48 points a game. And I just watched, I was in Durham last week and watched Duke play the entire second half, basically playing to punt so that they wouldn't make any mistakes because they knew that Florida State wasn't going to get in the end zone. The only thing I think that could really, really put Florida State over the top is if Cam Ward does his best Colin McCord imitation and throw 3 pick sixes. But listen, Florida State's defense is still good. Patrick Payton, that group, they can still play. It's not like they're terrible. They just can't score. They haven't had a game where they've gained as many as 300 yards yet this season. It's crazy. So their defense is going to have to force a bunch of turnovers and do what they did against Clemson. Force field goals instead of touchdowns. Turn the ball over a couple of times and hope that their receivers don't drop touchdown passes.
Like they have all season.
Right. Yeah. I was just saying, we look at ticket prices, and I found something that's pretty interesting I want to show you. They have, if you want to go to this game tomorrow, this is like during the week I saw. Let me pull it up here. I got to find it. But 2 tickets, okay, behind the field goal post down at, Hard Rock or whatever they call it now. It used to be Pro Player Stadium, and Jimmy Buffett bought it for a couple of years and changed.
And then it was Landshark Stadium, yeah.
Let me try to find it here. Hold on, I'm trying to find. I wrote all these notes today, and trying to make sure I have everything here. Can't find it, but 2 tickets right behind the goalpost, $468 each.
Wow.
Who wants to pay $468 each for a team that's 1-6 or 1-7 against? I know it's a rivalry game, but this is not winner going to the national title. This is a team that Florida State's trying to figure out who are we.
Who they are.
And Miami is, hey, we have 1-year wonder with Cam Ward, and we're gonna put a rocket ship on him and carry him all the way to the ACC title game.
And by the way, you could probably walk up in that big stadium and buy a ticket at face value just because there's going to be half empty. So it's crazy. But you know what? Here's the thing about Florida State and the rest of the season. They're not going to run the table. I mean, they've got Miami this week. They've got Notre Dame still coming up. I mean, if they win this week, I mean, going 6-0 or 5-0 the rest of the way is really a big ask. So they're not going to be bowl eligible at this point. It's almost audition time for 2025. And you've got Brock Glenn, who is now auditioning to see whether he's going to be the guy next year, and you've got the other kid, the true
Luke
freshman.
Rumbaugh.
Yes, thank you for pronouncing it. All I have to do is spell it.
You're welcome, Brett.
But he played a little last week and just took a physical beating. But he's got 3 more games that he can play before they break his red shirt, so they can get a decent read on him too. And then there are other guys, receivers and offensive linemen who this is already the first 5 games of 2025.
Right, exactly. Let's talk about last night's game in Pittsburgh. I guess McCoy, the guy from Ohio State, I guess he forgot where he was.
Well, it's just been that kind of night. Braylon Lovelace.
Gone over 300 yards. And you wonder, how did Ohio State let a guy like that go? Yeah. And then you watch the first half of yesterday and say, oh, that's why Ohio State let him go, because he's prone to making mistakes. And the worst part is he's prone to stacking them. And you saw what happened. Listen, the thing that really impressed me last night is I think Pitt is for real. I've been skeptical, and we will find out next week when they play SMU down in Dallas.
Right.
But the thing about Pitt is that the first 5 games of the year, they were just overwhelming people on offense. Their offense has been ordinary the last 2 games, but their defense has been elite because last week or 2 weeks ago against Cal, they had 7 sacks. Yesterday they had 5 interceptions, 3 pick sixes. So, and then they have a field goal kicker who's making 58-yard field goals. So it's really, and Pat Narduzzi won an ACC title, 3 years ago? Yeah. So it's really the total package. And, they still play Clemson and, at home in November. So they still have their own destiny in their hands. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's still a long shot, but it's not crazy to think that they could run the table here and end up in Charlotte on December 7th.
Yeah, I think that's a question. Adam, go ahead.
And Pitt offensive coordinator is someone that I'm familiar with because I live in Western North Carolina, and Pitt offensive coordinator came from Western Carolina University in Colorway, and 2 of their top receivers last year on the Catamounts.
And their top running back.
And the running back transferred over to Pitt. So it's like I'm familiar with what Coach Narduzzi is doing in the offense. It's like back home.
And the thing about this is Pat Narduzzi is a defensive guy, and defensive guys don't like concentrating on offense, and especially a guy who's been around as long as Narduzzi, handing the keys to the offense over to a 31-year-old guy who came from a group of, actually it was an FCS program.
Western
it was
Carolina,
a gutsy move. And it has paid off, and he's going to be coach of the year because of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. If the ACC championship started today, who do you think is going to be in it? You got Miami, Pitt, SMU is still undefeated. Duke is a long shot now after that loss they had a couple weeks ago against Georgia Tech. So I think my brother's a Hurricane fan. I'm thinking it's going to be a rematch of a couple of years ago between Miami and Clemson, because I feel like those two are running a train into Charlotte.
Those are the 2 teams right now to beat, and it's also the 2 teams the ACC is desperate to have there, because if it's those 2 teams, the ACC is going to have two bids to the playoff. Because those 2 teams will be top 10 teams if they run the table and they meet in Charlotte, they will be in the top 10 and they'll be in the playoff picture. But here's the thing, we used to always laugh and root for Coastal Chaos back when they had divisional play, and Coastal Chaos would have been all 7 teams ending up 500, and now you have to have a coin flip or rock paper scissors to decide who goes to the championship game. Well, we could have a version of that if Clemson and Miami and SMU all go undefeated in the conference and they don't play each other, so it's possible. Now what do you do? So although the way things are, I would say SMU, welcome to the ACC. You ain't playing in that game. But yeah, I think those are the 2 teams to beat. I think SMU is the most likely challenger. Because of their schedule. Although, like I said, they still have to play Virginia Tech, and they still have to play Pitt, and they're at Duke this weekend. You talked about Duke being out of it. Duke beats SMU this week, and they're right back in it. If somebody else loses a game, and then Pitt is the dark horse. But I would say right now, barring Marioing. Or something crazy happen like Clemson going to Blacksburg in 3 weeks and getting beat. It's got to be the Tigers and the Hurricanes.
Exactly. Well, Brett, we got to let you go because we got the commissioner on, from bowling. But thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you before the ACC championship game and see how everything goes.
Sounds great, and thanks again, Chris. Like I said, it's an honor to be on with you.
All right, man. Thanks, buddy. Talk to you soon. I see it. Bye. All right, that's Brent Friedlander, who covers the ACC really well. Now, folks, if you have any questions you want to ask the commissioner of the professional,
Chris. I'll introduce him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's call folks. This Sunday on Fox, check your local listings, is the last event on the 2024 PBA Tour season. Let me ask you something. How many strikes can you get in 2 minutes? Well, eight of the best bowlers will find out in a bracket style competition that was pre-taped when me and our next guest was in Portland, Maine for the PBA Elite League, and I wonder if he wants to give us a little hint of the next year's schedule, since we know the U.S. Open starts the 2025 PBA Tour schedule, and I probably know he's pulling for the Dodgers to win the World Series. So joining us now is our good friend, the commissioner of the PBA Tour, and I'll see him sometime next year, Tom Fox. Tom, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And first of all, we have to talk about Wes Mlott since he retired this year from the PBA Elite League. It was it won't be the same without him up there in Portland. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely not. It's great to be here. Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Chris. First of all, number one, I don't know if you know where I'm from, but I'm from Syracuse, New York.
I know. I was going to ask you how you're doing today.
So when I come on and I have to listen to Syracuse pick it, I mean, I was almost over.
I know. You guys were doing okay until last night, and I guess the quarterback had a brain fart or something because I don't think he threw more interception to Ohio State than he did with you guys. I'm thinking, like, what happened here? And I had passes for that game, but I stayed home because I had something going on here.
I've been so excited about McCord, and he's the best passing quarterback Syracuse has had since Donovan McNabb, and we were all excited about him. But when you have 5 picks and 3 of them are pick sixes, and they're all like in the first quarter, it's like, wait a minute. Well, that was a devastating game. And then secondly, when Adam's on, you don't have to ask me any questions because Adam knows the answers to every PBA.
I was going to ask, since I live in Western North Carolina and we had Hurricane Helene come through, I was going to ask if you guys in the PBA Tour would do something special for all the victims here, sometime next year, because I think it'd be kind of cool, to do.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I lived in Hickory, North Carolina for a year.
I know that is.
And obviously Kyle Troop is our best player ever from that area. But no, it's a good idea. We should. You were there. First of all, your question about Wes. I mean, he embodied the PBA League, and the fact that he took it serious, and I think he actually liked it better than any other form of bowling, really helped that league get to another level. And so to see him have to throw his last few shots in that league and know what it meant to him was pretty emotional. But I think it shined through on the program. But people like him have the power to influence all the other players. And if he's taking it serious and he thinks this is good, then they do. And when you do something new, not everybody wants to be on board. And so a guy like Wes Mlott makes that possible. But and then Adam, I do have to now, while you're usually 100% right on everything,
okay,
you are not right about the first event of the year in 2020.
Oh, okay. So you want to reveal the first of okay, Tom.
The U.S. Open is a great way, for fans usually to kick off a season, but it's not the ideal way for.
Okay, so you want to reveal the first.
We are going to start somewhere else the week before the U.S. Open, and you know what? Even though it's not public, and I'm not supposed to say anything about our schedule, I will tell you it's Delaware. So we'll be in Delaware to kick off the year. And
really? Okay.
Yeah. We'll end on January 25th on FS1. And then that's a classic event. And then we'll go on to the US Open in Indianapolis that ends on February 2nd.
Yeah. Wow.
So when's the official announcement about the schedule coming out?
It's very soon. Very soon. Could be next week. I'm hoping it's next week, but it's very soon. You don't have much longer to wait.
Thank you. It's called, I have to plan my trips for next year, Tom.
Okay.
I'm actually closer to Delaware, so that's pretty cool. But I do have to start. I'm the Baltimore guy, so I have to sell you the Baltimore, Washington area
every time. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So the last time that I just did research, the last time the tour was here was 2008. When it was the Marathon Open, and some guy named Pete Weber won it, and I was actually on that broadcast as covering it for media. And here's Pete. You got to love it. Back in the old days. In 2008.
Looks great.
Bowling used to be very popular here. It was popular here in Maryland because they had the Colt Lanes with Johnny Unitas, and then they got bought out by the Fairlanes people. And the Fairlanes Open was the tour stop every year when I was a kid on ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour, because I learned about my city of Baltimore, from living up in, because I moved from New York down to here. And is it ever going to be here? I know I was reading online that, with the bowling centers, you have to, they have to close down for a whole week. You guys, it's a huge production for you guys. You got to bring everything in, and, you got to take the bowling racks out and the bowl returns. You got to make one landed TV pair. I was there in Delaware last year, and I'm like, geez, that's a lot of stuff, so
it's a big investment. Yeah. It's a big investment for a bowling center to host us. They have to really love the PBA to be able to give up their center to us for a week. I mean, that's number one. And number two, they usually also contribute a host fee to the PBA, and they're able to run Pro-Am along with that. They're able to get all the gate money for themselves, and hopefully we enhance the reputation of any bowling center that we go to. And so there's a lot of value to it, but it also is a big investment. But that's not really the reason why we wouldn't have been back in the area. It's really just that we don't have that many cities that we can go to. And when it's, down to about 10 to 12 on the national tour, I mean, regional tour and the PBA 50 tour, we usually get we're in Northern Virginia for the PBA 50 almost every year.
Right.
But it's just tough to get around all the places that want us. And especially when half of those events are major championships. And when we have a major championship, it's got to be in a center large enough, to handle the kind of entries that we need to make those events as prestigious and important as they are. So It's nothing against any town, anywhere. I mean, there's so many places that say, please come. And I wish we could just go to all of them, but it just comes down to numbers.
Right, exactly.
Charlotte, North Carolina would be a good stop, Tom, for me, since it's, I'm only a few hours from Charlotte.
That would be great.
You'll be the Adam, the Adam Open or something. We'll come up with some kind of
Adam Limericks Invitational.
Deserves it. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
Now wait a minute. And I also, Adam, you were wrong about another thing.
Oh no.
I mean,
okay, Tom.
You said like three things, and you were. I'm not rooting. Even though Mookie Betts is on the Dodgers, I cannot root for the Dodgers, because I'm from New York.
Yes.
So.
All right.
I like you even more, sir, because I'm a Met fan. And after Sunday night, my dad called me and goes, "What happened?" I go, "We left 12 men on base, and we, every inning we had bases loaded, and we just couldn't score. That's what happened." And my dad goes, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I got to move on with my life. My Seminoles stink. They're terrible in college football right now. I like the Chiefs.
They got ripped off last year, though. That was terrible.
I know." And then my Chiefs are here in Baltimore. They don't like Kansas City because they think we cheat for some apparent reason. And my girlfriend is probably watching that right now, but we don't cheat. Yeah. Love you, honey. Anyway. Another thing about these majors, you went back to Akron last couple of years, and that bowling establishment is like the Yankees. I call it the Yankee Stadium of bowling.
Yeah.
Because it's like you walk in there and you see. I went there a couple of years ago, and my friend and I realized we don't go there during a snowstorm. So that's a story. So we get there and we cover the finals, and we're driving home, and we realize it started to snow. And my buddy goes, "Dude, it's snowing here in Akron." I'm like, "Oh crap!" I'm like, so we driving back home. It took us all the way until 3 a.m. to get back here because Ohio doesn't know how to plow for some apparent reason. So there's I-77 was like everybody doing like 15 miles an hour. I mean, by the time we got to Pennsylvania, the turnpike, I wanted to go over and give a hug to the guy who plows because that was smooth sailing the rest of the way. Yeah. But my story is about Akron. It's going to stay there for a long time, or is that going to be like?
If I can have the Tournament of Champions at Riviera Lanes, it will be there every single time we can.
Yeah, so.
We moved it back there in 2018 and for the first time, and it's been one of the great things that's happened for the PBA since I've been with the PBA, and it's really like a dream come true to be able to be in there for the Tournament of Champions. We actually brought the PBA 50 Tournament of Champions there for the first time this year too, and it just belongs there. You can feel it in the building. The improvement that we've made, I think it was this year and for next year, is moving the TOC really to be the last event of the season. So we'll be in April this year. It'll be nice. You can come and
thank you. So I'll see you in Akron next year, Tom.
All right. There you go. And Adam, we do the Hall of Fame inductions.
I know it's called. You need to invite me so I can come.
Oh, no, you come. You can always do whatever you want. So you'll be there. You're a member of the media. You just get a media pass to it. You'll be fine.
It's called.
I tried to do that. I emailed the lady. I don't know who it was, and I said, "Is it open to the media?" And she goes, "No, it's not. It's not open." I'm like,
well, we'll make sure you're in there next year.
Okay.
Thank you. So I can come next year.
Yes.
Thank you. It's called. I will be there for the Hall of Fame induction ceremony next year.
Nice. We do have one question. Somebody emailed me a question yesterday for you. Is there anything about fantasy bowling? Because to me, I feel like, how do you do fantasy bowling when you have fantasy football? But he was wondering, he's from Chicago, Illinois. He was wondering, are you guys ever going to do fantasy bowling? To me, I'm like, how do you do that? Because I know it
wouldn't be hard. No, that for sure. We hope to partner with someone that can run a fantasy league, because we have in the past, but it's been a long time since we got it going at one point. But it's pretty easy. I mean, you just have to pick your players each week and get points for where they finish in any tournament. You follow every single tournament all the way through, and whether you do a drafting before the season that gives you a roster of maybe 10 people, and you decide who your 5 are going to be for any given tournament, or if you just can pick from anyone every single tournament, and have to essentially pay for the higher ranked players in any tournament. And we should do it. And I've been really happy with the amount of gambling that's happened with bowling and sports betting. And a lot of these different syndicates have picked up PBA, and I assume it'll be on there most of next year for all of our live events. And
that's cool.
There was a lot of wagering on the PBA league.
And it's called, as long as the PBA league is in September every year, since we really had nice weather when we were up there, Tom, I like that. I like those dates. So it's called, if we can have it like there every September, I'd appreciate it.
All right. I'll check with you before anything's finalized.
Thank you. And I will say having David Boog Curl win his first career PBA Tour title in Delaware, and then going on to win the PBA playoffs, I think that was one of the coolest stories of the year.
Oh, it's amazing. Fairy tale. You couldn't make it up. I mean, he was a PTQ player. He wasn't on tour and had to win his way into the tournament, and then won the tournament. And then he gets to be in all the tournaments, and he kept going and going, and makes the playoffs, wins the playoffs. And then he made the LBC Clash as well. He won that. He won his division.
He did.
It's really an amazing story. It's kind of similar to the Tom Smallwood story from back in the day. And I think that you'll see Boog, probably have a career that's similar to Tom Smallwood's. Always right there, always ready to compete. I mean, one thing you learn about Boog is he's kind of like Smallwood in that he doesn't back down from anybody. And, exactly. That mentality and that ability to be focused and tough are underrated qualities of the best PBA bowlers.
Exactly. Well, we got to let you go, but thank you so much for coming on tonight. And if you guys are in the Baltimore area, you can watch the Strike Derby tomorrow on Sunday at 1. Here in Baltimore.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you got to check your local listings. It'd be really fun to watch.
Here in North Carolina, so it's called.
Yeah.
Even though we know who won, Tom, since we were there. No, I will not.
No spoilers. Yeah, no spoilers.
I will not say anything.
There it is. And 405 down at where Adam is in Asheville, North Carolina. So if you don't have an NFL game, you will watch it at 1 o'clock. If you have an NFL game, you'll watch it at 4 o'clock on Fox. So it's going to be an interesting NFL and bowling on Sunday. So, Tom, thanks so much for making it part of your evening here on a Friday. And don't be a stranger. We'd love to have you back on later in the year. And maybe we'll get you back on with the whole schedule thing as we could talk about the mileage and all that stuff. And we'll try to reimburse you. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks a lot, guys. Good luck.
Thanks. Have a great evening. Thank you, sir. See you.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, folks. You heard it here first.
That's right, folks. The first event of the 2025 PBA Tour season will take place in Delaware. Chris,
It's going to be cool. We'll be there.
You can go cover that event for us.
Yes, we will be there. I'll be there. I'll make sure I'll be there. Let me get a hold of Chuck Knobloch here for a minute here.
Yeah.
So you talk to Brian here, for a minute.
I will. We'll talk to Brian from Locked On Yankees, and it's folks.
Hey Brian, how you doing?
What's up?
Nothing much. Let me get a hold of Chuck here. He's flying from Dallas to New York this weekend. So let me see if I can get him on the phone. So
sure thing.
Hold on 1 second, okay? So Adam will talk to you for.
I will. Yes, Brian. First of all, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And the last time the Yankees and Dodgers faced each other was the year I was born, 1981. So it's called. I think this is really, really cool. But let's talk about the Yankees. I mean, all rise. Aaron Judge, Juan Soto have been incredible. Garrett Cole is on the mound for the Yankees, and it's a homecoming for him since he played college baseball at UCLA. So it's, so what do the Yankees got to do, tonight in game one, to win against the Dodgers, since we know the Dodgers have Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, strong pitching. So what do they got to do to put it off on the right track?
Yeah, there's a lot of elements to this game and this series really that are going to be key. I think the Yankees had the best chance in this series the longer the series goes, because the Yankees, I think, have the benefit in the starting pitching department. The Dodgers are really hurt when it comes to starters. They really don't have a lot of depth in their rotation. They really only have 2 starters that are healthy at the moment. So I really think that the longer this series goes, the more the Yankees hitters get to see the Dodgers' elite bullpen, is the more they're going to be able to take advantage. And that's a huge key. Winning your home game is going to be key. Getting out of Los Angeles with a 1-1 series tie would be absolutely ideal for the New York Yankees. If they can do that, I think you're on a good path going back to New York.
And let's talk. And Chris is called. I believe you have.
Well, he's in flight. I don't know where he is. I just left a voicemail, so he's probably delayed down in Houston or something like that. Okay. But we'll figure it out. We'll get him on probably soon. But Brian, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We almost got the Subway Series if the Mets did not run out of gas on Sunday night. Pretty much. I think the pitching staff. My brother Will said finally the pitching staff just gave up, and how many innings he got. But taking on the Dodgers, having this classic series that everybody's talking about, and like, oh my God, this is 1981. I was born in 1981. I don't even know what happened in 1981 because I was like a little guy walking around, had no clue. But how great is this Fox having this World Series? Because you got Aaron Judge taking on Shohei Ohtani, you got Garrett Cole, Garrett Cole taking on all those pitching staffs the Dodgers have. I feel like this might be a great ratings thing for Fox on baseball, just to make them feel like, hey, we got something here.
Yeah, I think either way, whichever series they got, Fox was just hoping to God that they didn't get the Cleveland Guardians. Right? Yeah. I think Yankees Mets would have drew ratings. I think Yankees Dodgers draws more of a rating. But regardless of really TV ratings, we've been collectively dying for this series for the better part of 5 years at this point, that the Yankees and Dodgers have both been, really the 2 of the top teams in all of baseball. So this has been a long time coming. Both of these markets have been a long time coming, linking up at this point. Just the matchup overall, it kind of stinks the Dodgers aren't fully healthy, just with their with their starting rotation. But still, the Dodgers are a great team. So it's really going to be an intriguing series. I think Major League Baseball was comfortable with anybody but Cleveland.
Right. I do like some keys in the series. Jack Flaherty, when he pitched against the Mets in Game 1, he looked like Earl Hershiser. And in '88, like his curveball was working. And people don't realize here in Baltimore, he was here with the Orioles last year, and his ERA was so bad that the Orioles didn't want to give him a contract and say, "See you later, get out of here."
Yeah, he was a stellar pitcher in St. Louis, and then it kind of fell off with him there. I actually wanted the Yankees to take a flyer on him last year at the deadline, just because I thought. I think that was what Baltimore was doing. Like there was a chance that he could find that spark that he had previously in St. Louis, and you just don't know with some of these guys. Right. They didn't get it in Baltimore. He signs in Detroit, has a pretty solid first half to the season, and then Detroit trades him away, magically makes the postseason, and the Dodgers wind up giving up a really, really nice package for Jack Flaherty. And really, it was worth giving up all they gave up because now the Dodgers have a starting pitcher, and I don't think he's an ace, but you can't classify him as that. But he's their only viable starter right now. because Yamamoto can really only go 3 innings at most. He got hurt, weirdly enough, in that Yankees series when they played the Yankees in the Bronx in June. So you really do have this weird scenario going on where, Jack Flaherty is good. I don't know if he's an ace. But regardless, that's going to be a key for the Yankees, is just beating the Dodgers starting pitching staff, which is clearly their weakness.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like with the what pitcher you got with Garrett Cole? This is like the 5th-year out of 9-year deal that the Yankees give him. He was such a great pitcher with the Pirates, great pitcher with the Astros. Now he's finally bringing the Yankees to the promised land. And I was there in 2009 when that World Series against the Phillies. I went to Game 2. And I got to say, that stadium was really loud when Pedro Martinez was pitching, and who your daddy all over through the whole thing. It was so great to hear that because, Pedro was like, he called the Yankees his daddy. But, do you feel like he's finally, after he was on the DL for a long time?
Yes, he missed the first roughly 3 months of the season. Really, all of April, all of May, all of June. He came back early July. And he's really been good since then. And I weirdly, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, it feels like this could be a sort of secret advantage for the Yankees. The fact that he came in July, and right now it's as if he's in July of a normal season for him. So he's as fresh as he could possibly be in this World Series. He's as rested as he could possibly be. He's not like the other pitchers who have been throwing the work haul of an entire year. He's coming in as fresh as humanly possible. So I think it actually works as a real key advantage to the Yankees.
Yeah, I think it's great and he's still fresh. He didn't have like 30 starts. He had 15 or maybe 20 or something in the second half.
It was less than 20. I think it was 16 starts, and he was really good. He had 2 or 3 clunker starts, both of them weirdly against the Mets. And other than that, he was stellar throughout the entire season. And what's really key is in the series they played the Dodgers didn't see him. The Yankees saw Yamamoto, so they can watch tape of them facing Yamamoto. They can see what he looked like. The Dodgers did not see Garrett Cole, and most of the Dodgers' best batters have not seen Garrett Cole. Remember, Garrett Cole was an Astro, so Shohei Ohtani did not see him very much. Saw him enough, but not a ton, right? Because he wasn't really in the league yet. Freddie Freeman with the Braves most of the time did not see Garrett Cole for a lot of time. Mookie Betts was a Red Sox, didn't see Garrett Cole a lot. So there's a really good trend of the Dodgers players that haven't seen Garrett Cole that much in their career. That's going to work as a benefit to the Yankees also. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, and then with Ohtani, I think he's leading off. I think he's like the great hitter. And during that whole Mets series, I cringed when he came up because that guy could hit one out, and he did the first, Game 3 and Game 4, the one in the 9th inning. I think it was like the 7th inning, and I said to my girlfriend, "All right, it's only 4-2. If he hits a 3-run homer, just turn the TV off and we'll watch something else." And he hits a 3-run homer. It's like, I looked at her, just turn it off now.
He's an elite player. He's one of the more elite players in the game. And he's one of those guys that can change a game at any moment. The key to Ohtani, in my opinion, is you have to minimize him whenever you can, right? You can't let him get on base with multiple guys out. You have to clean things up when he's in front of him when he gets up. Try and, do everything you possibly can to get the last out with the 9-hitter before he can get up. Do everything imaginable to get him up without guys on base. If there are 2 men on base, don't mind walking the base to get out of Shohei Ohtani because you'd rather put him on base than give up a 3-run homer. I'd personally rather face Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman or any of those guys. And they're elite players too, with all due respect. But Shohei Ohtani is in a mode right now where he can affect a game, a series, anything. You don't want to give him the opportunity to do that. So you have to neutralize him whenever you can. I think a key to the series too, and tell me if you guys disagree, the fact that the Mets pitchers in the NLCS were a little more hesitant to go after the Dodgers players, right? They knew they were kind of like the second place team, and they were a little afraid to go after the Dodgers. I think when you have elite pitchers that the Yankees have, like a Carlos Rodon, like Garrett Cole, guys with a lot of confidence, they're not going to be afraid to attack and go after the Dodgers hitters. And I think that's a really big key. I look to Garrett Cole, slam him with fastballs, really attack up in the zone. They're the Dodgers to get hits off of you. And if you do that, you have a better chance than pitching around these guys.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. I think, and like I said, I don't think the Mets pitchers attacked Ohtani like, you should have jammed them inside. Same thing with Mookie Betts. They left a lot of pitches over the plate. And even that guy who won the series MVP, he looked like he was, a little Mickey Mantle. I don't know where the heck he came from. But I just feel like the Mets pitchers did not jam. Maybe the Mets don't have that type of pitcher to jam inside. But I'm old school baseball. Just jam them in. If you hit them on the hand, it's okay. They go down to first base. You don't have to worry about them score. They'll score on a single, but he's not going to hit the 3-run home run or a grand slam and you go, oh, this stinks. This is over.
I harken back to what Pedro Martinez actually said on the post game after Game 5 ended for the Yankees. The way that you get Giancarlo Stanton out right now, and I think it applies to all big power hitters. If you're going to throw a fastball, it better be up and in really close to his knuckles. And if you're going to throw a breaking ball, it better be low and away, out of the zone, unhittable. Anything in the strike zone, they're going to make contact. And you saw that with Giancarlo Stanton throughout the entire Royals series, throughout the entire Guardian series. Anything in the zone, he's making contact with it. And if he's making contact, it's traveling a long way. So you can't allow that. You're better off walking guys than you are letting them make contact. So you have to be on top of things. And, you got to execute when it comes to pitches. And that's my key to the series, right? Is the Yankees starting rotation. We know that the Dodgers lineup is deeper than the Yankees lineup. I mean, it's better. We can argue that back and forth, but it's certainly deeper than the Yankees lineup. You could debate bullpens. I think the Yankees have 3 arms that they really, really trust right now, and the Dodgers have more. You could debate who has the better bullpen. What I don't think you can debate at all is who has the better starting rotation. And I think that the New York Yankees have a far better starting rotation than the Los Angeles Dodgers. So you have to be better than them in this series. You can't let the Dodgers outpitch you. And if the Yankees do that, I think they have the best chance of winning possible.
That's true. I agree. And I think the Yankees might have a better bullpen, than the Dodgers, because I think the Dodgers used too many of their pitchers in Game 6. And I know they haven't pitched since Sunday. I think everybody's all fresh and ready to go. So this might be a long night for Fox, and I guess they'll move that USC Rutgers game to like FS1.
They will, Chris. It was announced. So if Game 1 of the World Series does go along, FS1 will go cover Rutgers, USC, and I'm kind of glad I'm not in LA right now, Brian, since you've got, it's called a lot of traffic out there in SoCal. So
there's a lot going on too, especially I think the Clippers play tonight too.
Yeah, I got the map. I got the map here. I found this online. Here's the map. That's where the traffic map. Look at it. You got Dodger Stadium over here, and then you got the Lakers playing at the old Staples Center. And then you got the USC game, and then some high school game in SoCal, where the Rams play, and then some dude with a concert over at where the Clippers play. So it's like, if you're in LA, do not go
just
anywhere.
Stay home. The traffic there's bad already.
You might go to 7-Eleven and get out of there quick enough, but Well, Brian, thank you so much for coming on. Let me let you go so you get ready for your game. And before you go, tell everybody where you can find Locked On Yankees, because you guys do a great job with that podcast. I was listening to it the other day to see if you're available.
Yeah, so we'll be live after every Yankee game the rest of the postseason. We'll be with you throughout the off season. You can find us on YouTube, Locked On Yankees. We're all over the place, right? Every podcast platform you could possibly imagine, you could find us. Amazon Prime TV, we're everywhere imaginable. So Go find us all over there. After every Yankee game, we interact with you guys. We have you on live chats. It should be a lot of fun. And you could definitely use us as a therapy session after these games. We're a lot cheaper than your therapist.
Exactly. And maybe next year you may call me for the Subway Series. I'll be your mitt guy if you need any help. So
and if the Yankees ever play the Braves.
Oh, they probably will. Everybody plays everybody now. So
It's true. You're right.
Yeah. All right, Brian. Have a great evening, and go Yanks. And I hope you have a great evening, and hopefully we'll be Game 1.
Thanks for having me, guys. Pleasure.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks,
Talk to you soon. All right, see you later. All right, we can't get Chuck. I think he's still flying or somewhere. We'll get him on next week. We'll try to get him on before.
Yeah.
I think this World Series will probably go to a best of 7 or whatever.
Chris, it's called, you know what I said? It's called I Said Dodgers in 7.
Yeah. Folks, if you just logged in, you just missed Commissioner Clark stating that the first PBA tournament on Fox next year will be in Middletown, Delaware.
Chris, I know you're watching, so it's like are you going to see the first event next year in Delaware?
Yes, and I'll be there and covering that. Well, when the schedule come out, I'll make sure I'll put a circle. And we'll do a show like we did last year at that.
Yeah, and it's like Chris is cut. And don't forget, you and Matt are invited to join me next year in Portland.
Yes, we're going to work on that too, and we're going to also work on hopefully Riviera Lanes. So we'll try to do that too.
Good.
It's in April, and I think April's a good time to drive to Ohio. I don't think there's any storms or snow.
No, it's called. I plan on going next year.
Yeah,
it's my first stop at TLC.
Exactly. What's this? Just we're waiting for Jeff Snyder from the Dodgers, but I don't know how things are going to be for him to get on. But let's see here. On this date, back in 2005, then was the longest World Series game at the time, 5 hours and 41 minutes between the White Sox and the Houston Astros. And here it is, the highlight. It took 14 innings. It tied the Game 2 of the 1916 World Series in Game 1 of the 2015 World Series. Chicago beat the Houston Astros in the rain 7-5 in Chicago, and that was the last time Chicago was basically relevant because this year they broke the 1962 Met record. So we want to say thank you, Chicago White Sox fans.
Yes, yeah, and it's like and for people who don't know, Chris and I are going with the Dodgers to win. I have Dodgers in 7, and you have Dodgers in 6.
Well, if you guys just logged in, Tom Clark, I love him dearly now because he's a Met fan. I think he is.
And I like him too because he's always takes good care of me when I go see the PBA tour.
And we're going to work on that Hall of Fame dinner thing because I did tell him that I emailed the lady and she told me like, we don't have any availability, so maybe I got you in there. Yeah,
good. It's I'll go.
Hey, we know all the Hall of Famers. We know everybody. Like I said, Parker Bone III on speed dial. Norm Duke and all those people. And Wes, we'll get what I'm thinking. Maybe next Thursday, if Wes Malot's available, I'll see if I can get him on and we can talk to him about his because he's such a great guy. Wes Malott. I was going to share a story with Tom Clark that he talked to me about something that years ago that I have never shared because
you can share it.
It was between him and I, and he was talking at the time that he was thinking about because he was dealing with a lot of injuries. He was thinking about hanging it up for good. But he didn't know what to do because he was, and because he hurt his back. And I saw him in Delaware this year. I was like, dude, what happened to your back? And he goes, oh, I hurt. And I said, and then I saw you on TV the next day. I'm like, my girlfriend and I are going like, I thought he had a back problem. We're like, he goes, oh, I was in the back of a car. He told me this. I was in the back of a car taking a cortisone shot, and it actually worked really well. So I got myself back in there. I'm like, that's good. But he's a big man. He's a nice guy. And,
he is.
And he gave you, and you should have told
it's
Tom.
It's called We Swap Seats.
And that is really a nice guy.
Portland, Maine to Charlotte. Not this year, but last year, and it's like, it's like he's incredible, and it won't be the same without him. On the Portland Lumberjacks with Tim Mack, and we want to wish Penn State good luck, for the rest of the year since Tim Mack is a former Penn State.
They got to take on Wisconsin this weekend, and they're having some issues with two ex-players had some extra activity.
And then Ohio State.
He said no comment to. I don't think he needs to comment anyway. That's not a part of the program. If he kicks him off the team, then that's not part of the issue.
Yeah.
And I wish I was up there for practice this week. It was pretty funny hearing the guy going. Franklin going, no comment, and then walking. Yeah. So next Thursday, I'm thinking about doing the show. Let's make sure we'll do it at 8:30 next Thursday night because I want to make sure we get Halloween taken care of around here. Yeah. So we'll be on next Thursday at 8:30. We'll just do 8:30 to 9:30. We'll try to preview the Army Air Force game coming up. That Matt and I are making a trip to West Point next Saturday.
Sure.
Yeah, so we'll hopefully get some Army players on. I'm working on trying to get a Air Force player. He is from the state of Maryland.
Cool.
His name is. I got to set up. I'll see if I can get him on. As a tape. Tyrone Collins. He's from Waldorf, Maryland. He's with Army now, so he's with Air Force. So but they're traveling next week to here to the West Point area. They leave, I think, Thursday night. So he won't be able to be live, but I'll try to see if I can hook up a tape interview with him on Tuesday when he's available with players. Next week, we Army, Air Force. We also got Stanford and NC State playing next week, in the ACC. Florida State is supposed to take on North Carolina next week, and then a week later they're supposed to take on the Irish. And speaking of the Irish, I hope you're listening to me. Alan, the guy who works for the Irish, I put in again for the passes, and he denied me. And I wrote him a nice little email saying, "Why did you deny me for a team that's 1-6?" Yeah, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to. Florida State's not going to the college football playoff.
No.
Yeah, and and Notre Dame is going in the opposite direction of them. So why did you? I said, if you have a change of heart, can you help us get approved for this game? Because I think you need to be. I don't think anybody from Florida State is going to fly to from Tallahassee to South Bend to watch a massacre.
No, that's basically what it's going to be.
I've been around the Florida State media people, and there's not a lot of media people in the first place. I know Sarah Fletcher down in Duke told me, it was the game last Friday was a high volume game. For who?
I don't know.
I said to her, for who? For you guys? Yeah, because Duke has never beat Florida State, but Florida State's not going to bring. They don't have a lot of media coverage. You saw it last year, Adam.
Yeah, when we were in Charlotte. Yeah,
me, the guy from the Ward Chant, you, other people. It's not like the whole and Brent Friedlander, who we had on the show.
Yeah,
there too. It's like, come on, man, seriously. Crazy. So we're waiting for Jeff to join us. I guess he is probably getting himself ready for the game tonight, for the Dodgers. So hopefully we'll get him on another time. Maybe we'll see if we get him on for next week. A lot of people. This is Friday night. We're never on a Friday night. So
no.
Yeah. Speaking of tomorrow night, we'll do the post game show, the FSU Miami game.
We will. So
game.
Yeah. So.
We'll have Danielle on because we love Danielle. She's fired up, a little firecracker, as we call her. Yeah.
And see if we can get Robert Cooper to join us too, Chris.
I've been trying to get a hold of Robert, and I sent him emails, and I'll probably send him a message again. I'll make the link tonight for you, and I'll send it out to her tonight. Because you said you would love to join us after the game tomorrow night. I think the game's at 7, so it might be around 10:30.
On game.
Yeah, I think so because the game's at 7.
Yeah,
it should be over by 10:30 anyway.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night at 10:30, we'll try to see who I can get on tonight. Tomorrow to join us post game. We'll be on tomorrow. So, let's delete Brian. We'll put this in. Yeah, so we'll do it tomorrow night at 10:30 after the Florida State Miami game. We'll see if Florida State pulls out a miracle. Did you like my little post?
Yeah.
Any miracle out there,
folks? It's called if you're praying for somebody right now, pray for Florida State since we need a miracle, please.
Yes. And our thoughts and prayers to go out to Priscilla and her mother who sadly passed away this week. So her mom was dealing. I've been talking to her on Twitter, on Instant Messenger, seeing how she's doing, and she was telling me her mom just had a hard time, just fading away. That's what people when they get old. So, and also our prayers go out to her father, Mr. Proctor, who is the former coach of Florida State back in the day. He's not doing well either. So prayers to all the Proctor family.
Yes.
So we send our deepest gratitude to our deepest sadness for your loss of your mother, and hopefully your dad gets better so we can get him on to talk to him about Florida State because I know he's been basically ready to talk. So because he is So
I enjoyed having him on last. I enjoyed having him on. when we did. Yeah, it's called.
Yeah, in Charlotte.
She was on last. It's called. She was on last year with us. When we were at the ACC championship game in Charlotte.
Yeah, he was. He was down there, and we had we enjoyed talking to him and Priscilla. And, I'll reach out to her and see what how she's doing. Maybe she wants to, get her mind off of things and maybe think about Florida State football but she was so irate about being we were 1-6, so I don't blame her.
So am I.
Yeah. Next week we'll be on Thursday, October 31st at 8:30, just after Halloween. So we want to wish you happy Halloween, folks. Also, if you see down at the bottom line there, we got 11 more days until we need to make a change in this country. So, Adam, we're not a political program where we talk sports, but folks, if you go out, please vote for blue, because we can't. If you don't vote for blue, we will not be able to do these things, because that guy will be watching us. So I'm not mentioning any names, because we all know who I'm talking about. So so you got 11 days. Go out and do early voting. Go out and help the cause. It's very, very interesting to watch the election this year than years past. Because it's a lot of things for you, Adam. Right. Yeah. So we all have our opinions in this country. So that's how, and our opinions are our opinions only. And hopefully you guys, we honor your opinions. That's right. So anyway, we're going to leave you tonight with, I guess Jeff forgot to log in. So we leave you tonight with this album was in 1975. Columbia Records released Still Crazy After All These Years from Paul Simon. And this song is the title track of that album, Still Crazy After All These Years. So we're going to end the stream here with, I guess I have to hit the button here. Okay, hold on. So we're going to leave you tonight with the Still Crazy After All These Years. We'll see you all.
I know I am. It's called We Are Crazy After All These Years.
We're always crazy, dude. We're always.
Of course. It's called, we always have fun together. So,
we want to say thank you to Tom Clark for joining us. We want to say thank you to Dave Ryan for joining us. Darrell Thompson joining us. We're checking on Jennifer to see how she's doing. Maybe we'll get her on again next Thursday. Thank you for Brian McKeon from Lockdown Yankees. And also, we'll try to get Chuck on next week. I guess with the flight to New York, it probably was delayed and maybe had a hard time getting to the airport or something. So we'll worry about those guys. But thank you for joining us. Here is Paul Simon with Still Crazy After All These Years. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.
Problem is all inside your head, she said to me. The answer is easy if you take it logically. I'd like to help you in your struggle to be free. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. She said it's really not my habit to intrude. Furthermore, I hope my meaning won't be lost or misconstrued. But I'll repeat myself. At the risk of being crude, there must be 50 ways to leave your lover. 50 ways to leave your lover. You just slip out the back, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. You don't need to be coy, Roy. Just get yourself free. Or hop on the bus, Gus. You don't need to discuss much. Just drop off the key, Lee, and get yourself free. Slip out the back, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. You don't need to be coy, Roy. You just listen to me. Hop on the bus, Gus. You don't need to discuss much. Just drop off the key, Lee, and get yourself free. She said, it grieves me so to see you in such pain. I wish there was something I could do